Hello, 5th grade. Let's continue our week's class. Okay? So, that's the teacher's guide. Pupil's book. Let's pick up our Pupil's book on page 80 and 81. So guys, what can you see here? You see a building. There are many different types of buildings. There are tall buildings, short buildings, commercial buildings, residential buildings. There are many buildings. Your house is a building. It's a residential building. When you go downtown, you see commercial buildings. They can be very tall, they can be very short. Okay, here we have a train station that you can find in Melbourne, in Australia. Do you know where Australia is? Australia is a big country in the Oceania continent. Some people call it Australian continent. It's a very nice and beautiful place. Melbourne is a very big city in Australia. I think it's the biggest or second biggest city because there is Sydney, Melbourne, and Canberra. Canberra is the capital. Well, so guys, what can you see here in this building? You see that it's very colorful. This is in celebration of something. Let me see here. Open your books on page 8 and ask what can you see? What can you see? I did that. Tell pupils that this is a building, remember? Remind them of the meaning. So building is a construction. A house, a warehouse, a stadium. Any construction can be a building. Alright? Something that you construct. Okay. Let me see the name of this place. What are some kinds of buildings? Houses, shopping centers, schools, hospitals, bank, hotel, restaurants, museums. What else? Stadiums, I said stadiums. Stations like bus stations, train stations, airports. These are all different types of buildings. Okay, this one in the picture is a station. I think it's a train station. I have here somewhere. It is in Melbourne. What's the name of the building? It is, okay. I had it somewhere. Here. The photo shows Flinders Street Station in Melbourne, Australia. Colorful lights are being projected onto it during the White Night Festival. It's a festival, and those lights are because of the festival. Do you know any beautiful building here in Brazil? Like a touristic building? Well, let me remember. I think some buildings, some skyscrapers on Avenida Paulista in São Paulo during the New Year's Eve, they have some lights as well. The museum in Curitiba, Niemeyer, what's his first name? Niemeyer, Oscar Niemeyer Museum. Also, there is some beautiful decoration. It's a very different building, very nice. When you go to Curitiba, you should visit this museum. It's a very beautiful architecture. It's very nice. You can look for photos on the internet. Oscar Niemeyer Museum. It's very beautiful. What else we have that is very beautiful? A building. We have in Blumenau the Wellman building that is very, very German-like. German architecture. It's on September the 7th Street. I never remember, it's September the 7th or November the 15th. November the 15th? I don't remember. The Wellman building. What other buildings can I remember from? You have the City Hall in Timbó, that's beautiful. Also, I think it's German style. Oh. Do you remember any other building that is famous? In the United States, you have the White House, where the president lives. That's a very beautiful building. Another building that's very famous is the Notre Dame Church or Cathedral. The Notre Dame Cathedral is a very old building, very interesting as well. Then you have the Parliament building in London, where you find the Big Ben, that big tower with a clock. That's the Big Ben, that's also a building. You have the Palace of Buckingham, where Queen Elizabeth lives. Very interesting building as well. You have in New York the Empire State Building. It is a very, very tall building in New York. In the movie King Kong climbs up this building and starts smacking airplanes around. Well, any other famous buildings? We have the Colosseum in Rome. The Colosseum is very nice. We have the Pisa Tower in Pisa. That tower that is, crooked. Yeah, it's not straight. It's bent. Yeah, the Pisa. Everybody takes that picture like if they are holding the tower. Very famous. Another construction, another building that's famous. Maracanã is a very famous building. It's a soccer stadium or football stadium. We have the Museum of Natural History in New York. We have the Capitol building in Washington. There are many very famous and beautiful buildings. In Brazil, we have the Planalto Palace, where the president works. We have, let me see, a thing that I can remember. We have the Pink Palace in Florianopolis, if I'm not wrong. Argentina also, in Buenos Aires, there is the Pink Palace. Any museum that I can remember of? Any school? Any university? Yeah, we have Cambridge University in England. Yeah, they're very nice buildings. So guys, from this unity ahead, from the next lesson, that will be on Monday, next Monday, we're gonna talk about different kinds of buildings. Alright? So we have shopping centers, hospitals, cathedrals, schools, universities, what else? Stations. There are many different kinds of buildings. Residential buildings, commercial buildings, etc. So, next class, guys, be alert. We are going to be talking about different kinds of buildings. Yeah, you see on page 82, that's our next class, what we are going to talk about. So, no homework for you this time. just be ready for next class, ok? Bye bye. I hope you understood everything. Vocês viram que essa aula só falei inglês. Acho que eu não falei nada em português, né? Falei? Não me lembro. Eu espero que vocês tenham entendido. Bye bye e até a próxima aula.